What is happening, everybody, and welcome back to Tour Life. Today is July 23rd, and the boys are back in town. We got a lot to discuss, though. A lot to discuss. An absolute crazy final two rounds in FPO during the European Open. Gannon Buhr wins another major at the age of 19. I think sometimes we kind of forget that he's only 19 years old, folks. We've got EDWIN stats back as well as some listener questions. But, Yuli, welcome back, man. It feels like it's been forever.
Dude, it has. It has, man. I've been having to listen from afar. I don't know if I like that. I definitely don't like that.
From listening from afar?
Yeah, like having to listen to the next day.
And we're saying certain things, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I wish I could just jump in right now." And
Exactly.
my thing.
I'm like, dang, I had an answer for that. Dang it.
Yeah.
But no, it was a good trip overseas. I mean, a lot of stuff happened. But as soon as I landed in Dallas yesterday, and it was like a weight lifted off the shoulders, man. I love coming home to America. Let me tell you, I had to wear my USA shirt.
Yep.
Just because I missed home so much. Nothing against over there. Had a blast. Do
I need to come out and come back in, Silas? Why am I blurry? Everyone's going hashtag.
I don't know, man.
Hashtag blurry horse right now is trending. I don't know.
You were a little blurry during debate night too. We can try it. We can try it and see what happens.
Hashtag blurry horse.
Am I blurry?
You're okay. You're okay. You're a little
all right.
blurry.
Hashtag blurry horse. Keep it going. Sorry about that.
But no, glad to be home. All
right, nice. Before we get into today's episode, today is sponsored by disc golf pins. Spice up your disc golf bag with disc golf pins and patches. Disc golf pins are high quality enamel pins that you can put on all your disc golf gear and apparel. Each pin has a double pin back equipped with a butterfly clutch to safely and securely attach your pins to whatever you choose. Disc golf pins also offer a fun and creative line of stickers, shirts, patches, and their newest disc golf game, Crazy Caddy Pro. What else we got here? Proceeds from your purchase will even go towards helping them on tour with all the different type of players that they have. Also, Crazy Caddy Pro was just recently featured in a foundation video. With over 100 of designs and products to choose from, you can pick up your favorite and perfect pin and accessory to match your personality or support your favorite pro. Go to discgolfpins.com to start your collection today. Use code FOUNDATION for 20% off your order today. Again, that's FOUNDATION for 20% off your order at discgolfpins.com.
Those little buggers are awesome, by the way.
Little pins.
Oh, yeah. They have so many. There's anything you could ever want.
You got to spice up your bag. Spice up your, show a little personality with your bag.
Exactly.
My week, besides the fact of me trying to wake up at 2:00 in the morning to watch FPO unsuccessfully day after day, I would wake up and then watch a couple holes, and then all of a sudden I wake up again not knowing I fell asleep, and they'd be on hole 14. I'd be like, all right, well, I missed literally all of that. I try to watch as much as the President's Cup, which we'll get into here in a second. But my game's actually been feeling really good lately. I've been practicing a decent amount. I'm doing this new thing, which my body, I think, really enjoys. I'm not over practicing, over training. I'm not putting in a crazy amount of time day after day after day. I'm kind of doing a big day of where I'm practicing maybe 4 to 5 hours. And then the next day, I just do some light throws in my backyard and putting. And then the next day I go back out to the course, my body feels a lot better. So we'll see what happens with that. But I am excited. Ledgestone is going to be my next tournament, which is not this weekend, but the next weekend. So that will be really exciting. And honestly, I've been really enjoying the discs in my bag. And I feel like I'm starting to have a better understanding of what discs to throw, and also just relying on certain discs, if that makes sense. Not trying to throw 15, 16 different discs during a round. A lot of times you can get away with just changing the angle a little bit from your release and throwing the same disc, which I'm starting to like a lot. So yeah, the game's been feeling good. Excited to play again back at Ledgestone. And we were talking about this before we started. The biggest card show in the world is this week in Cleveland, Ohio. It's called the National. And me and Kelsey will be there Thursday and Friday. So any listeners that are big card sports fans that are going to be at the National, look out for us. We will be there Thursday and Friday, wheeling and dealing, trying to make some deals, and very excited for it.
Love it. What is that gonna? So what happens over there?
So it's literally like any convention that you can think of. You know, Comic-Con has one. I'm blanking. CES has one, which is like a lot of the new stuff coming out technology wise. It's really just the biggest convention for sports cards. So you're gonna have a bunch of dealers. So we could technically be a dealer if we wanted to. We could have a booth with a bunch of different cards and stuff that people can come up and buy. So there's gonna be tons and tons of different dealers, but then all the companies, all like the card companies, accessory companies, any sort of company around sports cards will be there.
Oh, how
so
cool.
it'll be a good time. It'll be a lot of fun.
I just broke sweet little, what is it, Domingo Alvarez?
Oh, okay. Baseball?
Auto?
That's baseball or is that soccer?
Baseball. Yankees.
Sound like either one of them to me. I don't follow
Rookie.
either one of those, so I don't know.
What do you do? Basketball?
Basketball, football, and sprinkle in a little bit of like UFC and stuff, but mostly football.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that'd be good. And hey, Brixton's coming out soon, guys. So disc golf cards are going to hit the market, I believe, sometime mid to late August. So be on the lookout for that. That should be really exciting for everyone involved with that. All right. Before we go into our President's Cup recap, shout out again for Discraft. They said, hey, the people want it. We're going to give it to them again. Use the code TOURLIFE15 this week for 15% off your order on the Team Discraft website. You can go to teamdiscraft.com. You can go to any player, any disc, anything, hat, jersey, whatever you want. Load up your cart, use the code TOURLIFE15 and get 15% off your order right there over on teamdiscraft.com. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's fantastic. A lot of cool stuff. A lot of stuff on sale too. So you can get like almost a double coupon, double sale. Floor Matio wants to know, should I buy a Z-Lite Raptor?
Yeah, I think you
Why
should.
not? Yeah, try it out. See what happens. Hey, if you're looking for a disc that's going to flip up a little bit, but then have that consistent fade at the end, and you don't have the arm power to do it with the normal Raptor, Z-Lite Raptor. That's your answer. All right, let's jump into the President's Cup here. That was kind of the start of the week. We were all getting ready for it. I was really excited about it to watch it. I'll let you open and kind of give your perspective since you were on the grounds of what you thought went down for President's Cup.
Well, we just absolutely destroyed them. There wasn't much that really happened. The one thing that I had control over, I had control over nothing pretty much. I didn't do anything. I walked around a little bit. Prior to us going out there, typically what would happen is I would, or the captain, whoever the captain is, would write their roster out, right? So they would go, okay,
matchups.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then they'd send it in. And the other person wouldn't know who they sent in, and that's been happening for years, apparently. I ended up not doing that. Seppo came up to me and he's like, hey, let's do it a different way. I said no, and we met in the middle and we did like a snake draft to where I would go. I went first. He matched a guy to him, and then he would go.
Oh.
And so it ended up being like a little bit more tactical.
I like that.
Yeah, and so
instead of like just blind.
Exactly. We were
so
like,
what was your strategy behind that?
Now we have a little strategy going on, and we can, put who we think we should to that player. And
what was your strategy going into that? Were there certain players that you're like?
There's two things I really wanted to do. First one was I wanted to put Paul and Ricky together.
The same card, okay.
On the same card, exactly. I wanted one of them. I got everything I wanted pretty much. I wanted Ricky to play Nicholas, and I wanted Paul to play Simon. And then after that, I really didn't care, except for in the women's, I wanted Ella to play Kristin, and I wanted Missy to play Evelina. And so all the things that I wanted actually happened. So it was a great draft.
So it worked out perfectly for you.
It was perfect. And then Ella got the big dub, the big upset, which was absolutely huge. It made me look pretty smart because I was getting a lot of questions on that. And I was also getting questions about Ricky and Paul playing together because typically in the past they split them up. And I thought that was interesting that the two best players that we've had for a decade, why wouldn't you put those two together?
Feed off of each other.
Exactly. And I feel like that's exactly what happened. I mean, Paul shot 14 under in the 18 holes that he played, which was absolutely insane.
Yeah, he played really well in his matches there. And I was able to see...
sorry to interrupt you, but I didn't even do like typically you're supposed to give like a pump up speech, and I didn't. I was like, nope, I'm letting these guys go out. No pump up speech. They don't need to hear anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, it worked. I mean, it's been working the last several years. And the matchups were definitely fun. They definitely were fun. Now, a couple things on my side. I'm gonna be honest with you. The coverage was absolutely brutal.
It was, yeah.
It was
cool to be there in person.
Yeah, I'm sure it was awesome to watch in person, and a lot of us that were eager to look at some USA versus Europe. It was almost unwatchable. It really was. Whoever was producing it, whoever was the one that was kind of making decisions of what to show, when to show it, what graphics to put up. I don't know if they're not equipped, like if they don't have enough people to help them or whatnot, but whatever the situation is, like that was not a digestible product. It was all over the place. A couple like examples. They missed every single tee shot on hole 10 for MPO. So FPO teed off on hole 1, MPO teed off on hole 10. We didn't get to see any of the tee shots on hole 10. Then like two of the top players in the world, Calvin and Eagle, we didn't see like any of any shots of them for like the first 4 or 5 holes that they played. We didn't see anything. So it was just like, it was all over the place. They started throwing up projected graphics of scores like within 5 minutes of the broadcast. They're already being like, oh, these are what the projected. No one cares about that. What are we doing? So it just seemed like from the production side of things, it seemed like they had never watched the Ryder Cup. They had never watched any sort of team. I mean, again, there's Ryder Cup, President's Cup. There's things that exist in golf that you can watch and see what they do and then just replicate it. Like, don't reinvent the wheel here.
No, exactly. And being first time captain, I got to walk with Seppo a lot, and we kind of hung together, right? And we would go watch certain cards together and stuff like that. And we were talking, and we thought like in the future this could be like a huge thing, just like we've talked. Yeah. And he said he's talked to UC, and he was pretty like strong-headed about the way that things work, right? But UC in his introduction speech said that this is his last year doing it. So he's passing it on to none other, I think, to the PDGA.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But if that's the case, hopefully, because it's so bad the way that it is, right? We just saw that. It's so bad. Hopefully, what I'm hoping is it can be its own event. Like we go over to Europe, maybe for Worlds or something, and we play like Worlds, then maybe after's the President's Cup and it's its own thing or something. Or maybe we go over for like Norway, in the middle's President's Cup, and then you go to something else, right? So it's like a whole week. And what I would like to see is have like 12 players from each country.
Mm-hmm. Each team, yeah.
Yep. 12 players, and maybe you do 8 women. 4 from each team, or maybe 10 from 5 and 5, something like that. To where, like I said, me going over there, the biggest thing I did was do the draft. I didn't do a speech. I didn't do anything. And then they went out and we won by 30 or whatever, or 15. Yeah. Like, I don't have anything to do with it. I would love to see a world with, if I'm the captain again or somebody else is the captain, they have tough decisions to make. They got to bench somebody. They got to bench this guy if he goes out and he fires a bad round, or maybe they trust him and he goes out and does a good round. Then the captain can get under like a lot of scrutiny, because that's not going to happen to Seppo. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, okay, next one, next year. It's not a big thing at all.
And it's also
and not to throw him under the bus. I'm just saying, in a real world like golf, that's a huge thing.
1,000%.
Like, the captain plays a gigantic role in how everything works.
And the sorry again, hashtag blurry horse. Sorry guys, just if you're watching live, just deal with it. Close your eyes and listen to my voice. Yeah, the thing I was gonna add on to that too is the Ryder Cup is such a massive event. They do a lot of promo. They do a lot of stuff leading up to that event, because there's nothing else around it. There's nothing really right before it. There's nothing really right behind it. The fact that you're playing a major event the next day, there's not going to be that many people that are going to be like super focused on the President's Cup.
Dude, it's 18 holes. It's 9 holes and 9 holes. Like, they play they play more golf in a day in practice than they did for that, right? Like,
yeah. So it needs to be a standalone event. There needs to be promotion leading up to it, and it could very well be an event that is right there with USDGC, with the World Championship. Yeah. It could be another event that is massive. You're going to get a lot of people behind the USA. You're going to get a lot of people behind Europe. I also would say too, you gotta make it an even playing field between MPO and FPO probably too, for it to be somewhat close. Otherwise, right now it's just the MPOs or the USA is just gonna keep dolly-whopping them.
I mean, it hasn't been close in the last couple of years.
But I think if you did like 6 MPO and 6 FPO, I think it would be a lot closer.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, last year it was close. The year before, I think we won by a point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think the last 2 years it came down to the last.
Well, also we're having a lot of our best players going over there now.
True.
The last couple of years, a lot of our best players still wouldn't even make the trip over. You know, so it wasn't a true USA representation. So we'll see. It's just one of those events that has so much potential. Yeah. And to me, they make it almost like just like a throwaway event, like just like it's going to happen, but whatever. Like, no one was really talking about it.
No.
And it's unfortunate, because it could be a really, really cool event. But unfortunately right now it's not. It's just kind of a throwaway event. It happens, and then you just forget about it and move on to the next thing. All right, well, let's go into our European Open recap here. This was a absolute wacky one, with rain delays, with complete changes in scores from one round to the next. All sorts of things went crazy here. And we got our very first look at a brand new course that is coming to the European Open tournament, which was Tampere, I believe. I could, if I'm mispronouncing that, that's fine. You can correct me in the comments. But what a course, man. What a course. Like, 30 minutes into watching coverage on Thursday, I was like, this course is sick. Why are we just now? And maybe it's because it was being built and wasn't completely ready to be played. But it's like, where was this thing hiding?
It's the best course ever.
It was sick.
It's the best course ever. I mean, the turn, like, I was talking about this on some of the coverage on doing commentary, and they do a really good job of like confusing the player. The turns of your disc happen at awkward times out there, to where it's not just your typical course design where they're like, oh yeah, this is the way a disc flies, this is fine. like they're happening farther down the fairway. So it's super tough, even for the best, most powerful players in the world, to get their disc to turn in the right spots. And it really causes you to like fade out and go into the woods, and you gotta be perfect.
Yeah.
There's no easy gimmies out there. There's not a lot of OB too. There's some holes with some OB here and there, but it was hard without that. Like the greens, the undulation out there. I mean,
greens were incredible.
It was fantastic. They got a ton of rain too, and I felt like the course held up pretty dang good for how much it rained.
Were they? Did they make a lot of those greens? I'm assuming. Did they move dirt around and make those greens? Man, see, like that's. Unfortunately, it costs money, but that is what you get. That is the product you get. And I think if that course would have played with very standard Disc Golf Pro Tour greens, where it's just like a couple trees maybe here and there, but let's elevate a couple baskets here and there, I think scores would have been drastically different. Drastically different. You couldn't, very few holes out there too, and this is something, playing with Calvin a bunch, something that he, and I'm not super shocked that he didn't play well at this course, because something that he is so good at is just throwing the disc where he wants it to go into the ground and having the ground stop it. So he would just, I've played with him. He's like, yeah, just chuck it into the ground. Just chuck it into the ground. And he can do that all over the place. That course, you can't just chuck a shot into the ground.
No.
If it doesn't come in with the right angle, if it doesn't come in with the right speed, it's getting on edge and it's rolling away.
No, you're right. I mean, it's so funny, like the transition that disc golf has taken, because the Beast used to be our hardest course.
Yeah.
Like our hardest course. And it wasn't even close. Like you go over there, and I remember being so stoked because I'm like, okay, this is the hardest place. Like this is like a huge challenge. And now it's like the easiest one we play. Like 14 under 30. I mean, Ricky almost shot 15 under final round. Wild.
Yeah. I mean, the Beast, obviously, we'll get into it a little bit with the conditions that were out there. I mean, they were perfect scoring conditions. But you're right. I mean, the evolution of disc golf has evolved drastically.
Crazy amounts.
And we're seeing that to where now, to really show a proper test, we really need to change a lot of things. And you look at, the difference between the two courses, they're so drastically different, because one course, you go through the Beast, and I'm going to put it in quotes because I don't know if it really deserves that name anymore, but you go through the course there and you really start looking at what holes are you actually scared of getting a bogey on.
We'll check this out. So,
and there's not too many.
No,
there's not too many.
It's soft. It really is. It's gotten pretty soft. And like, think about it like this. Back in 2000, when it first came up, I don't know when it was, but first time I played it was 2011. And maybe it was 2010. I don't know which year it was. But there wasn't one person with a 450-foot sidearm.
Yeah.
Not one person. The major championships that were designed back then were for the right-handed, backhanded player. That's why a bunch of lefties always played good at all the major championship courses. Nobody had a sidearm. And so now when you look at that place, hole 2 was a really tough get. Now it's a gimme.
Yeah.
Right?
Even when you get into the woods, like hole 4.
Absolutely. Well, and not only that, but the average distance carry.
Yeah.
I would love to know the statistics on that, which we will never be able to know, unfortunately. But my carry was like one of the farthest carries back then. Okay. Like I used to throw it. I throw it just as far now as I did back then, and I was one of the farthest throwers.
Mm-hmm.
It's 100 feet farther than me. 100. Yeah. And so when you think about that, it's like when I play that course, I have to be technical about it and be like, okay, I can't cover easily hole 3. I have to do the chip and like play that hole pretty strategically, unless I go roller, which is super dangerous.
Yep.
The water carry on that little pond hole. That used to be impossible, dude. That was a bomb. You'd have to lay it up if it got
You're talking
windy.
about hole 15?
It was like hole 10 or something. Like the easy chipper over the water now.
Hole
11. Hole 11.
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. Hole 10's the par 4 over the soccer fields.
Hole
and then
10,
hole 11.
we weren't getting to the corner like that, dude.
People
No
are like
way.
getting
People are
past the
getting all the
corner.
way in and then having putter approach.
Yeah.
My point is that everything's changed. Every single person has a 400-foot sidearm. It makes the hard holes the gimme holes that were back in the day because we were throwing rollers and turnovers into that. There was a couple people that would be able to get it with a sidearm, but it was still dangerous with that OB on the left. Like the game has just completely evolved and made it just so easy. That's why I have so much respect for what they did at the Tampere? I think that's how you say it.
Tampere?
Yeah, Disc Golf Center is the distances are now challenging those big guys. Mm-hmm. I was watching it the whole weekend because I got to caddy for Anthony. And so I'm watching these guys struggle with the turns. Like they're getting it out to a certain distance. It's turning. It's not the right turn. And that was the big struggle out there. So it really was, okay, do I take my medicine right away or do I go for it right away? And then I'm going to have an extremely tricky upshot. Like it was a lot of chess that they had to do out there to play good. I'm not surprised at all to see Gannon coming out there with the course record just because of the way he moves the disc. This kid he's so consistent, man. He makes everything. He throws the sidearm so far. Mm-hmm. His backhand so far. He's throwing hyzer flips now. He's not just throwing flex shots. Mm-hmm. And then he puts a putter in his hand and he can throw that one 300 feet on a dime. Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of crazy to see.
Yeah. Yeah, and to kind of put a bow on Tampere, I think the thing it does out there very well, it makes you have to be specific on where you're trying to land your disc on par 4s and par 5s with the angles. The angles out there matter. Yeah. Being on the left side of the fairway or the right side of the fairway matter. And the big difference with that and the Beast is it doesn't really matter. As long as you're in the fairway, and you're not OB, the angle doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And that's just, again, that's one of those things where you can make a course so much more difficult, so much more challenging when you have to be more specific with where you land. It's not just, hey, just land it in this massive spot. Same with like the greens. Hey, just land it anywhere inside of 60 feet and you'll have a putt. Out there, that wasn't the case. There were spots on the greens that you wanted to land your disc for putts. And there were spots on the greens where you're like, I can't land there. That's dead. Or that's gonna hit the hill and roll away. So I love seeing it. I loved absolutely seeing it. And I think that's a course that can stand by itself and hold a major.
Yeah, I completely agree. I hope that becomes a standard. I hope people look at that course design and be like, okay, this is what I gotta design. I gotta design something like this.
How was spectating out there? Was there enough room for 5,000 people to be out there?
Yeah, well, there were on some holes. Some holes they weren't allowed to go, and some holes they were. Okay. And it worked out pretty good. Honestly, I thought it worked out pretty good. They took a lot of trees out in some areas to where it didn't change the shot shape and people kind of crowd in there, but it was so rainy and stuff, and the weather was so bad for the 2 days. You didn't see a lot of people out there.
Yeah, it didn't seem like the crowds were too massive on a course like that. I was assuming that was probably because of the weather and not because of the course itself. Other things that I kind of just from those first 2 rounds, things that like popped out at me is like just how far Ricky throws the disc. It's something that I don't think a lot of people really talk about his distance, but his tee shots on a couple of the holes, especially on like hole 18, I mean, he was throwing that thing so much farther than almost everyone out there. It was pretty impressive stuff. His distance is literally elite, and a lot of people, I think, definitely don't talk about that. Another thing, too, is how uncomfortable Gannon looked during that first round. It seemed like that course was actually causing a lot of issues with him. It seemed like he was missing his lines just by a little bit. He was missing his putt by a little bit. Looking at his round as a whole, he didn't play particularly well that first round. He shoots 3 under par. Granted, that's only 4 off the lead, but for him, like there was just stretches. He went hole 5 through 9, just all pars. Hole 11 through 15, all pars, and it just looked like he was very, very uncomfortable. And then you look at round 2, he goes out there, shoots the course record 9 under. And it almost looked like he needed just 1 round under his belt to kind of figure out the course and get comfortable out there. So that was impressive. It was impressive to see the difference between his first and second round at a course like that.
Yeah, no, I didn't really get to see a lot of that because I don't think he was on the featured card.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, 9 down out there is ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, with 2 bogeys too.
It's a lot like Northwoods Black. Anything under par, you're fine.
Yeah, 2 bogeys, 9 under, very, very insane. We'll get to some of the other results from there because some people just got absolutely eaten up out there and really just basically shot themselves out of the tournament no matter what they ended up doing. But let's jump into the Beast. So we've already kind of mentioned it a little bit. The Beast isn't scary anymore. Not at all. I think the first thing though is like the wind. No wind on a course like that is just going to get absolutely destroyed. But the crowd out there, when you have people lining, because we typically see decent crowds, but it's like always behind the throws. It's always just like a couple hundred people all standing in the fairway behind. When you're out there, you're actually seeing fairways lined with spectators. And it makes it look so much cooler on coverage. It really does. It makes it look like it's actually a legitimate sport. And it's something that you can share with someone and they would be like, holy crap, that's insane.
You're 100% right. That's a picture that I show. I think it's like Macbeth. I have it saved in my phone at the Beast, and there's just 40 stacks deep of people surrounding. And so when people ask, "Oh, is there spectators?" and then I show them that, I'm like, "Oh yeah, there's spectators."
Yeah.
Then they can like you can kind of legitimize it in a way. It was insane, man. There were so many people out there. It was I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I think it was double from last year. I really do.
And the amount, and I think too, the fact that it's free and it's like in the center of the city, you get a lot of kids that just show up. Most of the kids I'm seeing at tournaments in the States are there with their parents. And I mean, I don't know really how you combat that, but I'm just adding on a little thing of just where, I think after Nicklaus finished his round 3, he was signing autographs, and, it's just 40, 50, 60 kids that are under the age of like 14. They're not driving there. They're probably on a bike or taking the bus or doing something, but they're getting there. Their parents aren't around. It's just a bunch of kids. And I love seeing that. The more that the sport can embrace that, and the more the sport can get kids to come out and watch disc golf, and then they see something, they see Eagle do something, or Gannon do something, or Calvin do something, and now all of a sudden they're going and they're playing disc golf with their buddies, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, look at this! I'm doing the Paul Uleberry putt." Whatever it may be, like that is really what ends up helping grow the sport, is doing it on the youth side. And it is very impressive every time just to see how many kids are out there.
No, agreed. I would be curious to see how they do it. How do they get all the kids out there?
I don't know.
Are the kids just so in love with it, or is the country, I guess, per land mass isn't that big? And
I don't know. I think it's the combination of it being in the middle of the city and for it being free, I think, is like that combo. It just makes it super easy for kids to go out there.
I just don't. How many kids in the U.S. are obsessed like that?
I think it's more scattered. I think there's probably more kids in the U.S. that are obsessed with disc golf than in Finland, but I think it is it's more scattered.
Yeah, there's not one place that's gonna get that many people out there. Like, and of course, there's a lot of kids. We just had the Junior Worlds go on this last week, which congratulations to all the winners and all the participants that went out there. But I don't know. It's tough because I don't think there's like one city with just like 200 13 and under year olds, you know?
Yeah, no, you're right. It is definitely more separated and more spread out than over there. But it is awesome to see. And it's also great that most of the pros out there are taking the time to engage, sign autographs, take photos, do all those things. Because those things, those are lasting memories. And those are great ways of having kids continue in the sport as well. So very cool to see. Let's talk some of the disc golf, though, on the beast. Again, in quotes, the beast. I mean, Gannon and Ricky just absolutely shellacked this course. Just absolutely shellacked it. Gannon shoots 12 under in round 3. Ricky shoots 10 under in round 3. Then in the final round, Ricky shoots the course record 13 under. Gannon shoots 11 under. Gannon has 2 bogeys. And he 12, so 13, so 25 birdies and 2 bogeys is what Gannon does over the course of his 2 rounds out there. Ricky follows it up with 9 birdies and then another that would be what, like 11, 10? Yeah, so like he had like 20 some birdies as well, only 1 bogey out there, and that was actually 2 bogeys out there, which we'll talk a little bit about here in a second. But I mean, they just absolutely blitzkrieg this course. And like you said, I think now that we're going from a course that is suited for players of this skill level to this course, I think that big contrast between the two, I think it opened a lot of people's eyes of like, I don't know if the beast is really a good test anymore for a major. I don't think it is.
Yeah, it depends on what you want as a major. I think we've talked about this a few times. Like, should there be a major where it's a birdie fest? Maybe. Should there be a wooded major? Yeah, maybe. Should there be one, that's like just pure distance, big boomer shots all the time? Possibly. But I think one thing we need to get, should it be both? Like, we get Smugs a lot. That's a good test of wooded and open.
Yeah, Fox Run's got a lot of easy holes though. This is my big thing. Is a lot of these courses we talk about a specific amount of holes. So like the Beast, what do we talk about? We don't really talk about hole 2. We don't talk about hole 8 or 9 or 10. We're not really talking about hole 13. We talk about hole 15, 16, 17, 18. Why? Because those are the holes that we see score separation. Now, obviously, 16 got super nerfed, and we'll talk about this because I don't think you were on the podcast that we discussed it. But those 4 holes we talk about because there is score separation.
Yeah.
We see things happen. I'm looking at it right here between these guys. Hole 15 final round. I mean, obviously, these guys are playing the best too. We're looking at the best players from this past week. Hole 15, Gannon birdies it, Ricky bogeys it. That only happened once, that entire round of a 2-swing score separation. Everything else was either a par or a birdie or a birdie par. So like that was the only hole that had it. That can happen on hole 16, even though it got super nerfed. Hole 17, that 100% can happen. We saw that on the final round. And then hole 18, that also could happen. We saw that also on the final round. So my thing is like, what if every hole was like that? What if every hole we made to where players had to make decisions? What if every hole we made where a bad throw got punished? And all of a sudden you have 18 holes like that. And sure, you can maybe make a couple a little bit harder and a couple a little bit easier. But like, let's not have a 236-foot hyzer hole. Let's not do that. Let's not have a 350-foot hyzer forehand hole. Like, there's just so many holes out there of where you just step up and you're like, I don't think I can bogey this hole unless I do something really stupid. And I want to see stuff where you put players in positions where they actually have to make decisions. And the perfect example of this is watch FPO play that same course. Because FPO's skill level is not where the MPO skill level is. Okay? You watch them, they make bad decisions all over the place because they actually have to make decisions. Sometimes they make good ones, sometimes they make bad ones. But the MPO, we're not going to the only bad decision I saw, or the only decision I saw in that final round where I was like, that's weird, was Ricky not going for it on hole 15. That was the only thing that I can pinpoint and think to myself. He did go
for it.
No, he laid up.
No, he went for it and caught a tree and it bounced and bounced.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he went for it. He just
I must have missed it. I saw his second.
He shanked it. Yeah, he shanked it. It turned over, hit the pine tree on the right, and just filtered in bounds.
Well, that even makes my point more because he laid up the day before, and so when I saw him in the fairway, I just assumed he laid up again.
No,
because I think I missed that tee shot, but like now that just makes my point. Now there is literally no shot in the entire course of that entire round between Ricky and Gannon that we can break down and be like, do we think they played it the right way?
Yeah, just go. It's all gas. Go, 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 go.
And so again, it's eliminating a huge part of the game. But I mean, to me, it's like there are going to be certain players that are going to really excel at that disc golf. But the first round, when you're playing courses like that, what I like about that is like not everyone is going to play great. And like we're going to break down Kristin Tattar's rounds because I think her round 3 or round 4 is like one of the craziest things that's probably happened this year of just the difference between those two. But when you're playing a course that is challenging from start to finish, no one is going to throw perfect. And you're going to be put into weird spots. You're going to be put into situations of like, should I run this putt or shouldn't I run this putt? Should I try to go for around this corner and be super aggressive? And that's where I think you look at the score separation and what we're looking at Tempera, and we see that stuff. Oh, that's what it was. Dan's got my back. We actually didn't get to see Ricky's shot on hole 15. So live coverage said he laid up.
That's funny.
So you got to see it because you were doing Jomez post.
Yeah.
They didn't show his shot on live.
Yeah, no, he shanked it right. Lots of power. Hit the trees, landed in bounds.
Oh, okay.
Short.
I was trying to think. I was like, bro, I was like, maybe I missed it. But yeah, that's exactly what it was. They just missed that shot. And they've missed a couple. We talked about this before. Like they've missed a couple, like really, I think it was the week before they missed Jakob's putt down the stretch. They didn't even show it that he laid up. So yeah, I don't know how you're missing guys that are almost in the lead, but I'm not too surprised about it either. All right, let's move real quick to a little bit of the cough gate. We're gonna stick with Gannon here. So hole 10, Gannon finds his first like kind of struggle. He ends up throwing actually a decent shot. It was just one of those 50-50s that are either gonna hit, flop, and he's gonna tap in birdie, or it does what his did, which was hit, roll, and
I think it was a bad shot.
It was coming in fast, but it was a coin flip though, is what I'm saying. Yeah. You're probably right. It wasn't good.
On that hole, you have to be coming in short because you're always going to get the skip roll deep, and the only trouble on that hole is deep. So there's no reason you should ever give your disc enough energy to roll out of bounds deep. That's what I think. Because you have that hay bale to the right, you have the fence to the left. Mm-hmm. It's the easiest shot in the world. Is get your distance, okay, land it short. You have to expect it to roll. It's on a slope.
Yeah.
So you play for the 25-foot roll, and if you don't, then you're 25 feet. But the disc isn't going to hit and roll 50 feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, on that hole too, you got that big fence up there. So playing it higher up into the hill is not a bad play either, because worst case scenario, it's just going to roll down into those hay bales, like you were saying. He almost made it, right?
Did.
So it probably was. It was probably a little bit more on the low side. I don't think he's actually trying to land it in the basket there. But it happens to roll out of bounds, and whether he wants to think that's a bad break or not, he walks up to his putt, and he's taking a little bit of time here. It looks like the wind actually all of a sudden just came out of nowhere. There's a little bit of a headwind, and this is the first, I would say, like stressful moment he had. And he, clanks it off the band. He got super lucky that he actually hit the right side of the band.
Right.
Because I think like 2 or 3 inches left, Yuli. I think that hits the band and goes over the hay bales OB.
Oh yeah, it goes in the other tee pad across like 45 feet.
So super lucky there. But right after, he like looks, and again, like the DGN's got one camera, I guess. So they're not going to change it to show you what he was talking to. I didn't know if he was talking to a player. He just basically looks in the same direction of where the basket is and basically says, "Hey, can you please not talk was it not talk?
Yeah.
Can you please not talk while I'm putting or playing or something like that?" And I actually got, or Hunter got some intel from someone that was on the grounds. Apparently there was a patron that was watching, a patron that was watching and had multiple times coughed during Gannon's throws. And so I think after this situation, he got escorted out.
Yeah.
Is that what you were hearing too?
That's what I heard.
Well?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, great. I mean, that to me, that has to be the first time I've ever heard of someone getting escorted out for trying to, put themselves in a position to interfere with someone.
Yeah, that's crazy. There's no need for that. It's disc golf. I think a lot of people, they're having a good time. They're talking. Like, you're never going to be able to stop people from talking, about what's going on, the whispers or whatever. But there's got to be some sort of respect when people are putting. That's when it's time to be quiet. And then when they putt, then you get the ahs and the oohs and the claps, and then you can talk again until the next person's up for putting. It's pretty simple.
And I think Hunter on Grip Locked actually yesterday made a really good point. It's just Gannon out there. And so if Gannon would have had a caddy and his caddy would have been like, "Hey, can we keep it down?" If his caddy would have done that, I don't think there's any pushback. I have no idea why I'm pixelated or any of this. I'm going to post a screenshot of my internet connection at the end of this so everyone can see it. But sorry, when I start like moving and I'm like glitching like that, it freaks me out. But if his caddy would do it, then I don't think there would be really any pushback on Gannon, because Gannon did get some pushback from some people by doing that. But it's like, it's only him out there. I mean, he's got to be the one that's doing it. No one else is out there doing it.
I've been saying this for a long time, man. Everybody needs a caddy, not just a caddy.
Super helpful.
Just a caddy that like you pick up on the weekend. Like, sometimes you get lucky and you get a really good one that can take control of that situation. But if you just have some kid who you just picked up, that's not going to help you. They're not going to try to interfere and be like that. That's going to be like kind of weird, because then what if you didn't want them to? Yeah. But like Brad, if that happened to me, he would have lost it. And he would have picked up on it in previous times. Mm-hmm. that it's happened, because it's happened. Nothing like that's ever happened to me, but like there'll be somebody moving and he'll put his hands up like, "Hey, my guy's putting, give him a second," type thing. But you're totally right. I mean, so many people, it's so hard to like control all that. You'd have to have 200 staff members holding up quiet signs and being in control of all that. And I don't think they had that. They had a lot, but
yeah. I mean, you're always going to have some people, take the photo right as you're about to throw. I mean, there's always going to be stuff like that. It's going to happen. But when it starts being deliberate, and that's what it sounded like this was, it was just like a deliberate case, I'm completely fine with escorting someone out.
Get them out of there. Absolutely.
Now, how does that work with the course being, like a public course? I don't know how you technically can like tell someone to leave. I don't really know how that works. It's not like he bought tickets and you can basically revoke him.
There were people who did buy tickets, I'm pretty sure. VIP tickets.
Okay.
There were tickets that were sold for sure.
For certain areas and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. But yeah, I mean, if it is deliberate and they are trying to get like under the skin or actually mess up a player, then that's where I think you have to draw the line. All right, let's jump to hole 16. It absolutely got nerfed. We found out, Yuli, that it wasn't actually the European Open. Any people there is actually the PDGA that was putting pressure on the European Open to change it, and the European Open decided to compromise, or not compromise. They decided to just do it with what the PDGA wanted. So what did you know? Did you find that out?
I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. What are your? I guess first, what are your thoughts on that? It's the PDGA of all people that were
not surprising anyway.
Okay. And
not surprising anyway.
What were your thoughts on how hole 16 played this week?
It's awful. But one of the easiest holes on the course. You could throw it inbounds, have a 500-footer, go for it, go up on the green, make your putt, take a par. Nate Sexton was telling me that happened. Like somebody like kind of shanked it, hit a pole or something, was way back and was like, oh, it's 550 feet to the hole. Let me just try it. Missed it, went up there, made the putt, got a par. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude.
That's
crazy.
I really wanted someone to just drop their disc off their tee, then drop their disc off the drop zone, and then make a putt for bogey, and then walk out without ever throwing a disc in bounds.
I know. You could literally drop it off the end of the tee pad, chuck it behind you 1,000 feet. Well, not 1,000, but let's say 500 feet, and then go up to the green, dude.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it's awful. Dude, it's awful.
It again goes back to, if you're listening to this and you're wondering, why is Brody always saying we need more OB? Why is Brody saying we always need to do this and this and this? That hole didn't change at all. The OB didn't change. The where you need to throw, nothing changed about that hole. The only thing that changed was the thing that players had to think about. When you step up to that hole, you're thinking in years past, if this disc doesn't go in bounds, I have to rethrow. And then when you get to your shot in the fairway, when you step up to that shot, and all you're thinking about is, I don't throw on the green, I'm not leaving here. There's no easy way out for me. I have to throw it on the green. It's the same gosh darn thing at hole 17 at USDGC. These holes aren't difficult. They're only difficult because they pose a scary, fearful thought into the players' heads. And some players are able to mentally be able to push it away and execute, and other players aren't. And that is where we love to see the differences. We love to see who can handle the pressure, who can't, who can crumble, who can step up to the plate. And when you make it to where it's like, hey, if you throw your tee shot OB, don't worry, you're going to have to throw from the perfect spot possible in the drop zone. It takes away all that stress. Players were throwing so far, Yuli, off that tee. Like, people were getting around the corner because why not?
Yeah.
Like before, when it was like, I need to throw this in bounds, guys were barely even making it past that road, past that little pathway, because people were throwing like the safe Spikeiser, just get me in bounds. And now it's seeing guys like juicing it to where they had like little flip forehands into the green.
No, it's silly, man. It's silly. It's a silly hole now. The rules are pathetic. It's a major championship. Used to be one of the greatest holes of all time ever. And now it's just completely nerfed. And this whole, dude, I'm so sick and tired of this whole putting drop zone bull crap. Like, what is this?
When did our
sport decide it was cool to have a drop? You throw it out of bounds and then you can putt it for par.
I'm sorry, guys.
Drop zone. That's crazy on an island hole. These are what our island holes have come to. If you miss it, it's fine. You get a consolation prize and you get to go up on the thing and you get to put it in the basket.
Putting is the boringest part about disc golf.
That's nuts.
Putting is the boringest part about disc golf.
Well, circle 2 putts are sick.
I don't know.
Watching Gannon just nail like the putt he made on 13.
You would
nasty.
much rather watch like a 40 like a 5-minute highlight of putts than a highlight of like throws.
Depends on what kind of throws. I mean, throws are cool if it's filmed correctly, but our sport's not filmed correctly. In person, yes, I would love to see a 500-foot shot weave through some trees perfectly, but also watching somebody just like when Ricky and Gannon get on fire and they make everything, there's nothing funner than watching that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, just like a 45, 50-foot wide open putt. Like that is not.
When do we have that on the tour? Never.
No,
it's always on a high rise on slopes.
It's a lot of times.
No, come on.
I'm just saying they need to stop putting people. I'm agreeing with you. They need to stop putting drop zones to allow people just to putt. That needs to get
Dude, it's insane. I can't believe it.
And for all the people too, like people were saying, oh, the change was made because of pace of play. That is the most insane thing. The PDGA could care a rat's butt about pace of play. They do absolutely nothing for pace of play. They don't have anyone paying attention to gaps in the course. They don't have anything, and we'll get to Gannon getting a time warning, but they don't care about pace of play at all.
And why are they caring about pace of play on the lead card when they're the last card out there and they're trying to win the tournament? That's insane, dude.
If they care about, go ahead.
I didn't hear any officials calling anybody the whole entire tournament, and then they call Gannon on the lead card. That's nuts, dude. There was cards that got put on clocks. You know why they got put on clocks? Not because they did it, because players message in.
Yes. You have to say,
and go, hey, this card in front of me is taking forever. I've done it like 3 times this year.
You have to self-report.
I text the guy and I go, hey, man, we're way behind. There's 2 holes in front of these guys. Can you guys tell them to move it? And then a PDJ official will go up there and do it. There's a few times, it's very rare, where the official, they'll be looking at the scores.
I don't think they know how.
Excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold. And they go out there and they say, okay, we're putting your card on a clock. But to call Gannon out in that situation is just, it's mind-boggling to me, because you've let him do it the whole tournament. He's been on the lead card the whole tournament. He's played round 1, round 2, round 3, or round 4 on coverage the whole entire time. And now you're going to call him at the very end. For what reason? Just to say, I just want you guys to know we're here and we are pushing the envelope with this rule. No, you're not.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
I think I think too, like, again, at the end of the day, like, the rule is just broken and they're trying to make this timeout thing, which is even more dumb. I don't want to see like down the stretch. I don't want to see guys rushing certain parts. Like, I want that to be built up. But then we're a broken record. There's so many things that you can do to play quicker. If you want to take a minute on a certain shot because you don't want to mess it up, it's a huge shot towards you're on hole 16 of a tournament, it's a huge shot, then get to the disc quickly. And then after you throw it, have everyone else play around you quick. Like, there's things to do that everyone can do.
Brody,
quickly.
This rule, I had a realization. This rule was made back in the day, okay, where we were playing par 3s.
Yeah.
It shouldn't take you 30 seconds to play a par 3. Okay? It should not take you 30 seconds to throw a shot off the tee on a 350-foot hole and then go up there and make a putt. It shouldn't take you that, or throw your up shot. We're playing difficult courses that are 750 feet through the woods with OB left and OB right. Give me some time to figure out the best play so I can throw the best possible shot and entertain the people who are paying to watch me. Give me some time.
Here's the thing, too. PDGA, if you're listening and you actually cared about pace of play, how about you do something that the PGA Tour has been doing for years? The RNA has been doing for all these people when they play these big events. We had, I mean, this wasn't even that big an event, really. At the end of the day, you had how many people? You had, or they did make a cut. So shout out to them for at least making a cut.
Of what? 14 people, 22 people.
Round 3, you
had. How many
had
people did they cut?
I'll tell you here.
It's hilarious.
Oh wow, they didn't cut that many people.
How many people did they cut, Brody?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. To be fair, they did cut about 17% of the field, which is still not that many. They should be cutting like 30%.
You cut the whole field except for who's cashing.
Were there people that didn't cash? Did that happen again?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not, my leaderboard's not there. Someone can maybe fact check this there. But if you really, really cared about pace of play, okay, you have 100 people playing in MPO. You have 27 people playing in FPO. The average tournament size on the PGA Tour is 140. So this is just under it. It's very close. It's very close. So listen to me very closely. Anyone from the PDGA, listen to me very closely. You have a morning wave and an afternoon wave. The morning wave tees off at the same time on hole 1 and hole 10. They go. So now the next tee, you have someone teeing off on hole 1 and someone's on hole 2. You have someone on hole 10 and someone on hole 11. Then the next tee goes off. Now you have someone on hole 1, 2, and 3, and 10, 11, and 12. So just 3 tee times in, you now have 24 people on the course versus the way you guys have been doing it. 3 tee times in, you have 12 people on the course. And the rest of the course is wide open. You have everyone go off. They all play in the morning wave. And then when they finish and they're done, the afternoon wave comes and they tee off. And then to make it fair, if you had an afternoon wave tee time on day 1, day 2, you go in the morning. And if you had a morning tee time on day 1, day 2, you go in the afternoon. And right there, here's the other thing. Here, PDJ, are you listening? Here's the other thing. If there's a major backup in the morning, it doesn't progressively get worse and worse and worse throughout the day because there's 2 waves. There's 2 waves. The second wave starts fresh with no backups, fresh with everything in front of them. Please, for the love of God, if you care about pace of play, because you're telling someone on hole 15 or hole 16 that's in the final group of the major that they are on time watch, and you waited that long to do it, implement this immediately. We'll see. We'll see if they actually care about it.
Hey,
we'll see if they actually care about it.
Listen, there's so much stuff that's broken. I'm telling you, man, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I think this pace of play thing is hilarious. I don't understand how you can't just get a grip on it. I don't know how. I still don't know how you actually call somebody on a lead card of a major championship when you haven't called them the whole tournament and you wait to the end. Dude, that's crazy. That's showing in my mind.
Just got all of a sudden,
and I know this isn't true, but I could look at that and I could go, "Oh, they're showing favoritism."
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I could see that as an argument. I know that's not true, but somebody could make that argument because, oh, you waited the whole entire tournament, and even if you called him 3 times, let's say you called him once every single round, he never got stroked. You didn't make it that scary. He never got stroked in those rounds. Did he just take one time take too much time and then you warned him and then he didn't do it the whole entire rest of? No, I watched.
Yeah.
And he's not the only one. Listen, if you throw a shot, okay, let's say it's hole 14. All right.
Mm-hmm.
If you throw a shot and you turn it over and it kicks a tree and it goes down into that crap on the right, everybody parks it. When does your time start?
They don't have it. They don't have an answer for that.
When does your, so I walk over there and now I'm like, okay, it's my turn. I'm pin high with my disc. I have to walk down there. Okay. I have to walk all the way down there. Slippery. It's been raining. I get to my disc. Does the time start there? I just took forever to get down there. And now I'm down there. When does my time start? Right then? Technically, it's my turn. They're all parked. It's my turn immediately. So is it when you approach your disc and you're okay, I made a decision, because when am I allowed to make my decision of what I want to do? What if I get down there, I don't have the right disc? I'm in such a bad spot that I don't have the right disc.
It's not like you can have your back. It's not like your back can come down
dangerous.
there with you.
Okay, my caddy's going to come down here with me. I'm going to take all this stuff. I'm going to go down there, and I'm supposed to be ready for this shot. Come on. It's a silly rule,
This is where, too, like, players just need to, like, understand, like, simple pace of play things, right? Because in that situation, like, if you were going down there, Yuli, and there was, like, and the other three of us were all within 15 feet of the basket, we should all just putt out.
You could.
While you're going down there. That's what we should do for pace of play reasons.
But let's say you're 50 feet, 30 feet, and somebody's 70 feet, and I'm 150 feet down this cliff. You see what I'm saying?
While you're going down there, I would say, Yuli, I'm going to go ahead and putt.
I'd be like, yeah, bet. But that's
how
I am.
Again, I'm trying to figure out, hey, as a group, what's the fastest way of us playing? And the fastest way of us is playing is not, hey, I have a 50-foot putt, but Yuli has a 100-foot putt down this cliff. I'm going to sit here and wait for Yuli to go all the way down this cliff. And then once he's done, I'm going to wait for him to walk all the way up, and then I'm going to putt.
Listen, the only time somebody's abusing the rule, in that situation, take as much time as you want. Go down there, figure it out, take as much time as you want. That's the way I feel. And that's the way I play it too. I don't ever call anybody who's down there unless they come all the way up, grab a disc, go all the way back, blah, 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 all that. Of course, there's certain things where you're like, all right, come on. You take your time, figure it out. Don't take 35 seconds to putt. Don't take 35 seconds to freaking throw your fairway shot. Yeah. Because that's when you do gain an advantage. When it's a little breezy and you're waiting for the breeze to go and you're sitting over your putt, because it's a rule, if you take longer, you're pushing the envelope, which we've all done. I've waited for the wind to die down. Just been like, okay, I can't make this putt right now. I'm not going to putt it. Like, it's impossible. There's a gust of 50 miles an hour in my face. I'm going to wait for this to pass. Call me or don't. Am I a cheater for that? Apparently I am, but they don't call it. Nobody calls it. The only time they call it is when you're at a major on hole 15. That's nuts, dude.
Yeah, and this is where I'm going to defend you a little bit, because some people are saying, he's breaking the rules and all this stuff. It's like, your point isn't the fact that he should be allowed to break the rules. Your point is he's been doing it all tournament, and you decided to call it final round hole 15. And to everyone's point too, something that people aren't paying attention to, okay? Yes, there is no one behind them. So it's like, why should they play fast? Well, they should play fast because it's a terrible product when 100%. You have the lead card on hole 12 and the next card's on hole 15. That's a terrible product. You know what's really easy to do is watch guys that are closing. Like Chris Dickerson was kind of making a push a little bit. Isaac Robinson was kind of making a push a little bit. But they were playing so many holes in front that it didn't really make it. Like, it didn't really, the story didn't add up. What would have been electric is, like, you see Isaac throw a hole 15 shot and he parks it. and then he's walking off hole 15. And as he's walking off hole 15, the leaders are walking onto the tee pad. Like, that's a nice transition. Not he parks his shot on hole 15 and no one's on hole 14, no one's on hole 13, and they're on hole 12. Like, that's not good. And that's why pace of play matters. Not just it matters for backups and all that stuff. It matters for the story. You got to get these guys playing all roughly around the same time, these holes, for the story.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. And to defend myself, I'm not saying Gannon take as long as you want forever. I'm saying if you're going to allow this guy to do it the whole tournament, how do you call him at the end in the most important time of the product that you're trying to sell? How do you call him at the end?
It's crazy. All right. Let's talk about Ricky right now, because I mean, there's not too much to say about Gannon. I mean, Gannon's performance was just absolutely incredible. I think we've said enough. Dealing with the guy coughing, dealing with being put on the clock down the stretch, the whole 17, like that situation right there. The fact that he was able to, compose himself for the next tee shot and his upshot, I mean, that shows a lot about him and his grit. Because that break on hole 7, like that would be devastating. You're literally thinking when he steps on hole 17, he's probably in his head thinking, if I just throw this disc in bounds, it's over. He gets kind of lucky a little bit with that light pole, because I do think if he didn't hit the light pole, I think that was going to be out of bounds anyways. Off the back, it looks like it was going to kind of hit, and anything that hits like close to that hillside kind of goes OB normally for the forehand. So he hits the light pole, gets a good break, and I think he steps up to that putt thinking in his head, I make this, it's over. Right? I make this putt, doesn't really matter what I do on hole 18, it's over. Hits it off the cage, gets a nasty roll down the hill, OB. Now all of a sudden, Ricky birdies hole 17, and all of a sudden, the lead that he had is completely vanquished. He doesn't have two shots anymore to play with. It is all tied going on to hole 18. And he ends up pulling it down. The guy's 19 years old. He's got 2 majors. And I mean, I guess the last thing I want to ask with Gannon here, how many majors is this guy going to end up winning? What's the number?
I mean, this is like a Kristin Tattar type situation, if you ask me. Honestly, it's like as many as he wants. I really think that. I think there's a couple challengers, but if he plays the way that he's supposed to play,
you think he's getting to double digits?
100%. 100%. He's 19. He's got 2. And the 2 tough ones, the USDGC and the European Open. Like, dude, the way the guy handles the pressure is unbelievable. Like, he's wise beyond his years. I mean, here's one thing I was super impressed with. Ricky goes OB. A lot of people kind of play conservative on that shot. Make sure to put it in bounds, put the pressure on Ricky to make a 45-footer. You know what I mean? Throw the disc to the wider spot, give yourself a putt. Nah, dude. He slams the door, goes for the pin, hits the pin, game over. You know what I mean? That's wise beyond your years, because he knows Ricky's going to make that, probably, most likely. And that's a tough second shot that he had. People think it's just an easy shot. No, there's OB everywhere. People mess that shot up every single time. I thought that was pretty incredible.
Yeah,
and
incredible performance by Gannon.
Dude, the guy, we were saying that he'd have to shoot a 9 under. Ricky,
he ran out of holes.
If Ricky birdies that hole, he shoots 15 under par.
Yeah.
4 shots clear of what Gannon would be to catch him. 4 shots. That means Gannon shoots 11. He shoots 15. That's crazy, dude.
The thing that I'm looking at, because like you go back and you look at how Gannon has performed the last several years, and it's not just like, oh wow, he just got good. Like, you go back 4 years from now, he has great finishes 4 years from now. 3 years from now, they're even better. 2 years ago, better. Last
Getting
year,
better and
very
better.
good. This year, very good. And now he's got major wins too. He's evolving. He's throwing the disc farther than he's ever thrown it. Like you said, he's not just throwing flex lines anymore like he used to. Like he used to chop his forehand. He used to chop over, not really chop over his backhand, but he definitely used to chop forehands. He's starting to be much more comfortable releasing on hyzer angles, and he's playing the courses really well. He's doing a great job of dissecting the courses and knowing where to throw the disc. Love to see it. And again, I hope that pushes other guys because that's what we really want to see. We want to see everyone get pushed to get better and better and better. You know?
I do know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I think we all know. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty cool to see, honestly. I mean, he's a freak specimen.
Now, we talked pretty much about Ricky's performance. I mean, he eagles hole 3. And then goes on a stretch from hole 6 all the way to hole 14.
Scariest person ever to have on your tail. Terrifying.
Just birding everything from 6 to 14. Takes a par on 15, birdie 16 and 17, and now we get to 18. It's a tie ball game. If I had to put money on what was going to happen, I would have put a lot of money on a playoff. I thought 100%. It was going to a playoff. I thought they were both going to birdie that hole. And I guess the question is, how do we feel about trees that are kind of randomly in the fairways?
I'm fine with that hole. I think there's landing spots. There's a deep landing spot. There's a middle landing spot, and there's a short landing spot. And I think you need to be specific on that hole. I really do.
So you think he was short? Was he going for the long landing spot and he was short, or do you think he was going for the middle landing spot and he was long?
I think he juiced it. I think he threw it too low and he juiced it. I think he's going for the middle spot. Yep. I mean, it looked a little low, looked a little outside, and then he just barely caught it.
Now he gets up to that lie, and a lot of people were speculating. Initially when I was texting some of the guys, they were like, "Oh, Ricky choked again." That is such a hard shot. You're having to throw 300 plus feet, probably from where he was. I'm going to guess it was probably close to like a 350 foot, like actual distance needed for the
a little farther, I think,
for the
like
elevation.
360, 370 shot from there.
Yeah, with elevation at play. He's got a limited run up, and for those that don't know, when you have a limited run up like that, you basically over exaggerate your upper body. You have to try to generate that power somehow. And a lot of times what happens is you generate it a little bit too, like you over generate it with your upper body, which tends to pull the disc right. And his shot actually wasn't bad. It was a little low, I think. He probably wanted it to be a little bit higher. And it was just pulled right. That's all it was. It was pulled like 10 feet right.
I think he thought he peered it.
Yeah. It was just,
I really do. 2 feet higher and it hits the pin.
Yeah. He either goes higher or he goes a little left. And both of those, I think he was
just a little bit low. Yeah.
Yep.
And he was like 2 feet shorter and he's parked. And then I think it was kind of a bad break that he just hit the corner there because the very next shot, Paul Macbeth hits it and rolls in bounds.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's 50-50. Yep. Like, do we love that the stage is kind of like a part of the final hole like that? Probably not, but does it also, like, we all know the stage is there. Like, what I don't like is the fact that Paul's disc did that, right? Like, that's what I wish is, like, if you hit it, you're OB.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't like a coin flip. But we all know when we're throwing that shot, like, one of the reasons why that shot is so difficult is the way that OB like cuts in up by the basket. It's so scary to like fluff your shot because then you don't ever clear up there. Yep. Now you're left with like a 45, 50 footer to an elevated basket with OB just left. So it's so easy to pull your shot right because you're scared of fluffing it to the left and you pull it into the friggin' scoreboard. So you take the scoreboard out. I guess my point, what I'm saying is you take the scoreboard out there, Yuli, I think that second shot becomes a lot easier for everyone.
No, I'm fine with it. Honestly, we all know it's there. I think he threw a great shot. I really do. I think he just hit the corner. A little bit. Like, you're not thinking of really that much height. All you're thinking of is angle from back there. If I hit this angle, I'm not going OB left. And that's what he's thinking. I got to get this. Like you said, he didn't have a good run up. I thought he threw a good shot. He just got unlucky that he hit the corner. I really do. I don't think he goes back there and he throws it. He might throw a different shot, but it's going to be the same line. Try to throw it a little higher. The higher you throw it, the more likely you're going OB left.
OB left. Yeah, no, it's a dangerous shot for sure.
I think that's one of those moments where in the future you'll have distances with these professionals, right? To where like your caddy will be like, "Hey, it's 320 to the corner." I don't see anybody going to the field and getting their distances correct, like before they throw and around. Like, I don't see that. I don't see like people going. When I go to the field, I'll throw like you're kind of scrambling here. Your throw changes from day to day. Your power fluctuates, right? Like, I go to the field, let's say I have a stock Heiser Raptor, and my stock Heiser Raptor goes about 320 when I hit it. Some days it's going 340. Some days it's going 300. If you know the distance to the corner of that thing, you should probably have it marked off. Okay, this is the distance there. I got to get this up because if I hit this harder. In golf, not only do they have all the distances to where all the trouble is, in fact, to the greens of where they're trying to hit it, they also calculate in, okay, and I have my adrenaline. When I'm all rushed up, I hit it 10 yards farther. So now I have to club down. I have to hit it. I think those could all be like a part of the game in the future. And I really think he just threw it a little low.
I think too, now that you're saying, he's trying to throw it to that second landing zone, I think maybe the thing he didn't factor in was like he was probably juiced up.
Yeah.
He was probably amped up. And we've seen Ricky. He surprisingly, he kind of had that energy all throughout the entire tournament. A lot of times with him, we only really see that come out towards the end, final day, even final couple holes. But like day one, day two, he's fist pumping, he's jumping up and down, running in putts all over the town. Like, he was absolutely juiced up. And I don't think he had a caddy there. But I think if he did, like, that would have been a perfect time for the caddy to be like, hey, take a couple breaths, compose yourself a little bit before you throw this. Because, like, his tee shot was not bad. Yeah. It just literally went 5 feet too far in the one spot I can't go. So, interesting stuff. And I think he took it on the chin well. He tweeted after saying, having some time to let that final round sink in. It was both a thrill and a heartbreak at at the same time. Thanks to everyone for supporting me and cheering for me. Gannon played amazing and got another well-deserved major title.
Here's what's crazy, dude. Ricky's playing the best I've ever seen him play.
He's playing very good.
That I've ever seen him play. Dude, the Crokle Open, bogey free.
He's playing very good disc golf.
Unbelievable. Okay. And then it just seems like I don't think that was the best Gannon can play. He played good, but that first round he left a little out there. Ricky could say the same thing. I don't know, man. It's just like the way that Ricky was playing, I thought, oh my gosh, he's going to win the tournament. There's nothing Gannon can do about it. And he held him off. I mean, it was just an awesome tournament.
I'm excited to see the next one,
that's for sure.
Here's a great question that was sent in by Coach Horn. Who wins their next major first, Ricky or Paul?
Man, we didn't even talk about Paul. He was looking pretty good too.
I know.
He just had two guys that went kind of freak mode on him.
Yeah, well, here, answer this, and then we'll kind of run down the leaderboard a little bit and wrap up the MPO and go into
Who
FPO.
wins first? Man, that's like a split decision for me. Paul's won so many in the last few years. Ricky's won none.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Ricky, though.
I think you have to with how good he's playing right now.
I think he's more consistent. And like, the different there was like a massive difference between like how I saw Ricky losing and then how I saw like Paul losing. Like Paul went 3 under through the first 7. Really, he went 4 under on the front 9. And on a course like that, after 16 getting nerfed, he's smart enough to know that he can't win. He can't. He knew after those taking a couple of those pars, he wasn't going to win. And you could see it on his face. You could see it in his reaction. And I wonder too if it was even more drastic because he knows he doesn't have that many good opportunities left to win these things. And he really put himself in a great position. I mean, he played phenomenal. You know, you look at the first round, he's in 4th place, shot 5 under. Second round, he's tied for first. Going into the third round, he drops off a little bit, but he's tied for second. Like, he has put himself in a great place, and it looked like just from his facial expression and his emotion and what he was kind of doing throughout that front 9, it really looked like he was like, dang it. Like, I had a great chance to win this one, and I kind of just blew my shot in the first 9.
4 under is not too bad. 9 under for the round isn't too bad. He just got pummeled.
You're that far back.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's playing against 2 people who are just annihilating the place. That's a tough break. Sometimes that just happens.
Back in the day, I think Paul probably wins this tournament. You know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, Paul probably wins this tournament 9 out of 10 times. You know, he shoots 30 under. Isaac's right there at 27. Chris Dickerson's at 26. Ricky's probably in there somewhere, right? And you're just like, wow, another one from Paul. And he loses by 5 to Gannon. You know, it just shows that you really can't have one poor round. And Paul honestly didn't really have a poor round. He just never really had an incredible round.
Yeah, nowadays you have to have all great rounds and then a super round.
Super round, yeah. And so, but it is good to see Paul and you know, finishing this tournament. You know, he played well last year, ended up dropping out final round, but it is good seeing him back in form, throwing some good shots, making some putts. It's just like you said, yeah, you got to play 3 great rounds and then 1 absolutely insane round to win. And it's getting harder and harder and harder. All right, let's go down the leaderboard a little bit more. Isaac Robinson, haven't really been saying too much about him this season. You know, moves up with a nice 11 under final round.
He's been sneaky good the last few tournaments.
Shoots 27 under. Like, he is getting just nice right before Worlds. Right before Worlds coming around. The champ getting just nice for it. So impressive play by him. Chris Dickerson, Nicholas Antilla had a good performance as well. Ezra Robinson played incredible. So this is crazy. Ezra Robinson shot 11 under in round 3. Round 4, he shoots 9 under to shoot 20 under for the tournament. He shoots 20 under for the tournament in the final 2 rounds. I have to scroll so far to find him in round 1. Like, he played the first 2 rounds, like, he did not play well on that course, which is kind of surprising. I would think he would have played great on that course.
Same.
Tampere. Like, I don't know what it was, but like you said, like, that course ate some people's lunch. He shot +2. He shot +2. He was in 53rd place after round 1. And then round 2, he must have shot 2 under, I guess, right? To get to even.
Yep.
Yeah, he shoots 2 under. He's in 54th place after round 2. And the dude battles himself back to a top 10. I mean, that's insane.
Crazy good.
Insane. Good performance by Laurie Lettinen. We haven't seen him in a while, so very nice. Top 10. And Thomas Gilbert. That's a name that we haven't mentioned. Great final round. Shooting 16 under for the tournament. 10 under the final round. Absolutely great final round. Gets himself in the top 10. Tied with Gavin Babcock, Robert Burge, Matt Bell, Maury Villman. All tied there at T9. So some names here that are a little surprising, like Kyle Klein, kind of surprised that he wasn't in the mix here. Shooting 15 under. well back from Gannon. I mean, that's 20 strokes off the lead. So just not even in the same ballpark. A little surprising from him. James Proctor, that's another name that I would have thought these two courses would have suited him very well. He finished 21st. Calvin Heimberg, man, wow, that's another one. Calvin, I don't know what happened, but the first course destroyed him. Just absolutely destroyed him. Round 1, he shoots 4 over par. Round 2, he shoots 3 over par, and then proceeds to shoot 10 under, 10 under. Like, it's just, he shot himself out of the tournament. Like, shooting 20 under at the Beast, like, that puts you in contention. Yeah. If you play decent at the other one. So yeah, he was just on the struggle bus. Matty O, same thing, kind of. Matty O shoots 6 under, 8 under, but shoots 2 over to start the tournament, 1 under second round. Like, a lot of these guys just shot themselves completely out of the tournament those first 2 rounds, and you just couldn't do it. Simon was another one, very surprising. Simon shot 1 under, 2 over. So to me, it's like, man, what would this tournament have been if it would have been just that course, 4 rounds?
It would have been crazy. I don't know. I mean,
do you think Gannon shoots 9 or 10 under than round 3, round 4? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think I love courses like that because, I mean, first round, look at the lead card. It was crazy.
Oh,
Andrew Miranda, Lotta, and then Paul. And
here's the other thing I want to bring up. Yeah, what you were saying right there. Look at how many of these guys did not finish in the top 10. Randon, Andrew, James Proctor, Andrew Presnell, Vino, Silver Lot, Jakob, Joel Freeman, Roland, Hayati, Timu. All those guys were in the top 10.
Yep.
None of those guys finished in the top 10. That's not a single one of those guys finished in the top 10. That's crazy.
From a course like that to the other one, and then it's a birdie fest. You just you can't miss a shot. Over at the other course, you miss a shot, you can scramble great. It's more of a strategic, like, kind of place your shots here and there, pick holes where you can be aggressive. The other one's just go, 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 go.
A little bit of a disappointing performance from AB here. Never could get it going. He was 2 under after round 2, and then had a decent round 3. Shot 8 under round 3, and then even par to finish off his tournament. He was the last cash at T36 there. So kind of disappointing. Him having such a good lead up to this major. I think it would have been a great kind of stamp on his season that he's having to get a major under his belt as well. So a little disappointed that he wasn't able to put himself in the mix. Outside of that, defending champion Corey Ellis, anything to say about him?
What place did he get?
52nd.
Yeah, tough.
Ends up going 6 under on the weekend. It was one of, like, to me, like, Corey Ellis is one of those guys that if he's throwing well, he can compete with everyone, but he's just so sporadic off the tee.
Yeah.
His consistency isn't nearly up there with the likes of Gannon, Ricky, guys that we're seeing towards the top of the leaderboard.
It seems like 3-4 times a year he has a chance to win a tournament, and then the rest of the year kind of ghost mode.
Yep.
It's not like he's always in the top 10. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah. He kind of, like, again, it's just when he plays to his ceiling, it's very well. Defending major champion at Champions Cup major winner, Andrew Presnell, finished 52nd, also with Aaron Gostage. A little surprising to see both those guys so far down. Presnell was one of those guys that I mentioned in the top 10 after the first round. Eagle McMahon. We got to talk about Eagle. What are we thinking with this guy? Is this guy have it still in the tank here? What's going on?
I don't know.
Because
I said let's wait till after the major because this is his spot. Struggles a bit. Man, injuries can do it to you. That's what I'm gonna say. Injuries can do it to you. Like we talk about it like it's nothing, but in other sports, major injuries can end careers. And I'm not saying that's what's happening, but we got to pump the brakes and let him take his time to come back, because sometimes that's what it takes. Like look at Jason Day, went through injuries, and he's just coming back and playing good. That was like a 10-year hiatus.
Oh, for sure.
In traditional golf. So
for sure. Yeah, I think we can look at it, and maybe some people are like, "Hey, he's notoriously not playing great in the woods, so maybe he just got destroyed at the first course." No, he shot one over at the Beast, the first round out there. I mean, that's not good on that course. And he'll tell you that's not good.
13 back of the hot round.
Shooting over par at the Beast is you played bad. So we'll see kind of what happens there. That's pretty much it. I mean, a lot of people missed the cut too that are pretty notable names, but the Tampere destroyed people. And it's like, if you're not playing well, you're going to get destroyed and you're going to get exposed. And that's what happened. And that's what we need more of. And talking about exposed, FPO kind of got exposed a little bit with the craziness that went down. Now, I was not able to watch live. I tried my hardest. One of the nights, I think it was Thursday, I guess it was morning. I tried to stay up Wednesday night into Thursday morning. That didn't work. Then Friday, I tried to go to bed early on Thursday and wake up early on Friday. That didn't work. So I watched very minimal amounts of FPO live. It was nearly impossible for me to do. I 2:00 in the morning, I think, is when they were teeing off for me. That was tough, Yuli. That was super tough. We also have like a lot of our live shows going on the night before. So that was tough. But I was able to go back and watch FPO and mainly watch every single shot of Kristin Tattar's third round and every single shot of Kristin Tattar's fourth round, and also watch every single shot of Evelina's fourth round. And then I sprinkled in some Silva shots here and there. How much FPO did you get to watch, Yuli, this past
Quite a bit. I thought it was over. I slept through the final round. I slept all the way through and woke up at like 11 o'clock. So I woke up, opened my phone to text my wife, and first thing that is on there is like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe Kristin came back and won." And I'm like, what? I didn't think it was going to happen, because I watched the third round and it was just like, it was a tough watch.
Yeah, we're going to go through it right here because I need to put this to bed. I made a tweet when I woke up. This was tweeted on July 20th. Oh, I don't have the timestamp on here. But this was tweeted like pretty much just right after I woke up on this would have been Saturday, I believe, right? Yeah, Saturday. This was after the third round, and it's a picture of Kristin's scorecard. And I said, just woke up. What the heck happened to Kristin Tattar? Now, some people took this the wrong way, and if that's you, then that's on you. I simply was asking, what the heck happened to Kristin Tattar?
Right.
Did she lose a limb? Did she slip and fall? Did she have to play with discs? Like, did she get her bag stolen and she's playing with new discs? Like, this is so uncharacteristic of her. She's had bad rounds. She hasn't played great, but she's always able to kind of like, what is it called? Like, hold off the bleeding.
Yeah.
Put
a tourniquet on it.
Yeah. Like, she's always been able to be like, you know what? I don't have my A game today. Let me still just kind of chip it around and still beat everyone. So I was like, what the heck happened? Some replies were legitimate after watching the coverage, but some replies, you guys are completely clueless. I don't think you guys are watching the same thing. People are saying like she was super unlucky, she was getting bad tree kicks and all this stuff.
Terrible shots.
So I was like, I need to watch this. So let me just run you guys through, so that way you guys have, for those people out there being like she was super unlucky. Let me run you through. Kristin Tattar's third round. Tee shot on hole 2. fluffs it. Just fluffs her forehand. Then proceeds to go to hole 3, throws an OBT shot 30 feet short, not even close to clearing. Goes to hole 4, hits a tree 30 feet right in front of her for her second shot. Just right in front of her, hits a tree. Hole 5, fluffs another forehand. Throws a great shot on hole 6, then proceeds to take her third shot on hole 7, fluffs another forehand down the hill. We all know you can't go down that hill on hole 7, fluffs it down the hill, hole 7. She's now 2 over through 7 holes, playing not well, throwing a bunch of bad shots. Easiest hole in the course, hole 8. Okay, let's get a birdie. Let's get it going again. Throws it short. Not even close to over the hay bale. Not even close to getting a birdie. Hole 9, fluffs her forehand inside, hits a tree. Hole 10, this was the first unlucky shot that she had. She doesn't throw a great shot, but normally it just hits the fence and stays in bounds on her second shot. It just so happened her disc went right where that gate is. And so it went out the gate OB. That's the first time where it's like, okay, that was kind of an unlucky break. Unfortunate. Hole 12, turns over her forehand, throws it into a terrible spot. Hole 13, doesn't get out the gap. Upshot throws short, but makes an incredible par putt, which I have that circled because I think right there, Yuli, she only won by 1. That's a putt that I think a lot of people, she was straddling out. Hole 13's the out the gap and then around the corner, and that big tree is short, and then the hill's right behind the basket. I think a lot of people, like, she's straddling completely out. I think a lot of people lay that putt up.
Right.
Or try to putt it in a way that's like different than their normal putt. She juices that. So I had that starred because I was like, that right there, like, she won by 1. Like, that was a huge putt looking back. Hole 15, fluffs her backhand. I mean, this was crazy. This is a layup. She's trying to throw like a 250-foot layup into like a circle 3 landing zone. Fluffs the backhand, doesn't even give it a shot, goes OB, then proceeds to throw her second shot, which I guess is her third shot with the penalty, to like 25 feet. Not a good second shot from like 200 feet away. Then misses that putt. Hole 16, throws too high, goes OB left. Then from the drop zone, throws too high again, goes OB. Hole 17, turns over her forehand, goes OB. Hole 18, overcorrects, goes OB right. I mean, she had 1 birdie, shoots 8 over par. Just a terrible. It wasn't like she got unlucky. She just played bad. She had a very, very bad round. And if that happens in MPO, you might not cash. If you play like that, you might not cash. Even if you were like in first, you might not cash. But watching, I think her watching Evelina during that round and how Evelina down the stretch, once Evelina started getting the lead, I think that had to make her feel like, wait a second, I actually have a chance to win this thing still. Like, who knows what's going to happen, right? It's not like you have a Gannon Buhr that's like, that guy looks like a robot. He's not going to make a mistake. I have no shot. So I do want to give, though, a big, like, hats off to Kristin, because after playing so bad, it's got to be super hard to go back out there and do it again. And she kind of talked about that. I don't know if you got to listen to her post-round interview. It was actually a really good post-round interview about how she was just basically saying, like, I have to be nice to myself. And I have to, like, tell myself I can play disc golf and I can play well. And she did. She went back out there, shot, I believe, the second best round of the tournament at that course behind Silva, who shot, I believe, 6 under tied the best round of Silva. So she went out there and shot the best round of the day, ends up winning it by 1. But I mean, I guess the first question, what do you have to say about Kristin Tattar not being able to win from behind? People want to know. Because that was a pretty crazy comeback. Granted, she put herself in that position. She should have won this tournament by like 10, but still, pretty impressive comeback.
She had the lead after the first round.
Yep.
Had the lead after the second round. lost it in the 3rd round, and won it in the 4th round.
Doesn't count in your book?
I don't think it counts, man.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
She had control of the tournament the whole entire time until the 3rd round.
I'm sure the commenters will love that.
No,
response from
listen.
you.
This is on Evelina. This one's on Evelina. She blew a gigantic lead to a really good round. Is even par a good round out there? Let me ask you that.
I would say it's not a bad round. I would say for FPO, even par is okay.
What did Evelina shoot?
She needed to only shoot. If she shot 1 over par, she would have won.
Okay, so
she shot 9 over.
So I'm not taking anything away from Chris. She did what she had to do. She won the tournament. Yes. Evelina blew it. Absolutely blew it.
Yeah. No, it's
like Kristin blew it, of course. We've never seen Kristin do that. Evelina does this.
Yeah.
This one's on Evelina. It really is. I mean, that's Kristin's going to do this every single time to them if they let her keep doing it. I don't think 10 strokes is enough. Because they're gonna fold.
Yeah, looking at this final round, it really is crazy when you start like looking at it. Like the first thing that threw question marks in my head is, why the heck is Evelina putting any pressure on herself in this round? You know, you're going up against Silva, and granted, Silva has been like the most consistent. You know, Kristin's not on tour. Silva's been like the most consistent FPO player this past month and a half. But you got to know that Silva can't birdie a lot of the holes out there. And Silva's also with her play style and her capabilities, she's going to struggle on a lot of those holes that you have a power forehand. She doesn't have that. So like first thing where it was just like questions like, why is Evelina trying to go for the second landing zone on hole 3 on the par 5? Like you chip a forehand, you chip another forehand, and then you throw an okay backhand, you take birdie and you go. You leave. She ends up bogeying that hole because, she ends up parring that hole because she goes OB on her tee shot by trying to go to the second landing zone. So like that was wild. Also, did you see the flex shot that Kristin had on hole 4 with her forehand? Oh my gosh. That's got to be one of the best FPO shots of the year. It
was crazy.
That shot was disgusting. But it's crazy. Like Kristin still was doing stuff to basically tell Evelina, like, hey, as long as you just play okay, you're going to beat me. Kristin, she throws that crazy flex shot on hole 4 and then goes to hole 5 and proceeds to 3-putt. Hole 5. And then
how many did she have her by?
To start the round?
Yeah.
7. She had Silva by 3 and Kristin by 7. Like that's what I'm saying is like she played her final round like she needed to shoot 5 under par. And that's what I'm saying. Like there's so many things of where you go to hole 5. Or sorry, I think it was it hole 6? I think it's hole 6, the par 3. You go to hole 6 and it's like, why is she trying to make like a 40-footer? 45, 50-footer. She tries to make this long putt.
Yeah.
It hits the basket, rolls all the way. Yes, that's super unfortunate for sure. Then she like chips a forehand up there and then misses a 15-footer. And it's like she's just giving away so many strokes when it's like, hey, I have a 50-footer putt here. It's an elevated basket on a slope. Let me just lay this up, take a par, and move on. Let me get these people behind me. Let me have them have to shoot 7 under par, 8 under par, 9 under par to beat me. But I was also
crazy. Thinking about this in perspective. Like, let's say that Paul Ulibarri, have a 7-stroke lead over Gannon and Ricky. I don't know if I can hold that lead, bro. Going into the final round.
Yes, you can if you're going in. If you're thinking in your head, hey, I only have to shoot 5 under today to win, you're going to change your game plan. You're not going to play certain holes the same way. You're not going to try to run certain putts.
But it would be tough.
She didn't do that.
They're going to birdie
but she
every
didn't
single
do any
hole,
of that.
But they're doing this. Her skill level is like that. Like, I don't have the ability to go out there and shoot 15 under par like Ricky. It's never going to happen for me. Ever. So if I have a 7-stroke
the crazy
lead,
thing is,
it's possible for him to do that. Like 7 under par is a good round for me. You know what I mean? Like, that's a solid round out there.
Yeah.
I think it's harder to hold a lead against somebody like that. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's hard to hold a lead against somebody who's that much better than you. And she is that. She's that much better than the whole entire field.
I don't think Kristin... If I'm Evelina there, I can't be thinking that Kristin is that. I just saw Kristin shoot her worst round ever. I got to be having a little bit of confidence in the back of my head of like, hey, I can beat this person. But then you go to like hole 8. Hole 8 was wild.
Did you beat her at the
she had like a she had like a 25-foot birdie putt and misses the basket by like 3 feet. Like, I'm not saying like she just airballs it. She like, if there was a basket next to the basket, she would have airballed that basket as well. And at that point, it's like, GG, she's done.
Yeah.
She's not going to win, which is crazy. She had the lead, and by hole 8, it's over. She's not going to win.
Done.
Which is just absolutely crazy. So then we did get to see a little bit of a battle between Evelina and against Silva and Kristin, which was kind of exciting, kind of going back and forth a little bit. Like Kristin 3-putted also again on hole 11, which was like again opening the door for Silva to win. I think Silva's going to look back on this and kind of really be like, dang, I really had a chance to win this one. Do you think Silva was trying to birdie on hole 17? That's the one thing that I have like circled. I couldn't tell if it was a bad shot by Silva on hole 17.
I think
or
if she
was
hits
just
the
playing
line
for par.
perfectly, she can get a look. And that's what watching her play, she's just trying to get looks. She's not like out thinking the room. She's just throwing her shots, trying to get looks and just knocking down everything is what it looks like.
Oh, her putts were crazy. Yeah. Silva ends up going OB on hole 18, which basically just allowed Kristin to kind of chip up, even though Kristin's upshot was kind of dicey there a little bit. But Kristin was able to just kind of chip up, lay one under the basket, and get another title down the books. So the question from Kevin, are we ready to put Kristin needs? So you already said no to that. So we'll skip to the next question.
Oh, no. The answer is yes. I'm willing to say she can play from behind. She just proved it at the biggest stage possible.
Okay, there you have it, guys. Yuli has taken away that take. All right, next question, though. 2 players I would have loved to have seen in this mix, because if Kristin goes and never has that round 3, if Kristin goes out there and shoots, let's say she shoots 4 under, let's say she shoots like 3 under in round 3, right? If she shoots 3 under in round 3, like has an okay round, she wins this tournament by 11, right? I would have loved to seen Emily Weatherman in the field and Holland Hanley. Those are 2 people that I'm like, what would have happened if this would have been a full field? I think Emily's game would have been great on both these courses, and she's playing great right now. And I think Holland's game would have been great on both these courses.
I think Owen would have played good too.
Ooh, Owen would have been a great one too. Yeah.
I think she would have played consistent down the stretch.
You shoot 2 under every round, Yuli, you win the tournament.
Yeah.
You know? So, but there you have it. A little FPO for you. Let's talk about the commentary real quick, coverage, anything like that. Only thing that I'll say about commentary is like, it got a little old quick. I don't know much about the guy. I'm sure he's great. I'm sure certain people like it, but like that style of commentary isn't really for me. I'm not a huge fan of that style of where we're just acting like every shot is like the greatest shot ever and you can't believe it and you're just like over exaggerating everything. Not Not my cup of tea. I get how some people like it. Just not my cup of tea.
What about Brian?
It just got old. I thought Brian did well. I thought Perkins did well as well. Like I liked both those guys. They didn't utilize anyone on the course. Like I don't really remember much of it at all.
They would go down to Perks a few times, I think.
Yeah, just not enough. I'm just gonna chalk that up as the technology. They don't have the technology to do it as much as they should. And with them basically only showing live shots, because that's where on the PGA Tour, for those that don't know how the PGA Tour does it, they have so many shots that they show that are tape delayed. So a lot of times what will happen is, because they're not showing it live, the person on the ground will actually have a computer with them. And so they're watching it on the computer, even though they just watched it live, they're watching it on the computer so they can sync up their commentary to the live broadcast, which I thought was fascinating. Now, when you don't have that technology, then you can't really have people talk that's on the ground with shots that happened 5, 10, 15, 30 seconds ago. But that is not Disc Golf Network's problem. Like, they don't ever show you, hey, this happened just moments ago, or they only show live stuff. So they don't have that excuse. And we should be getting more commentary from the grounds.
Yeah.
So some people are saying some people are saying they like the guy. I thought he was well. It's just if he literally just cut out a couple things of where he was acting kind of sometimes like an alien seeing someone throw a frisbee for the first time. If you could cut that out, then I probably wouldn't mind it as much. But no way, Brian. I heard that one too many times over the course of the week there. All right. A little EDWIN stats for you real quick. We'll throw it up. An early graphic of player of the year race here between Gannon Buhr, AB, Calvin, and Ricky. The bottom graph is going to show you the 2024 cumulative average finish position. So as they kind of go on, you can see Ricky and Gannon are getting kind of really close there to that 4.4, 5.2. AB started incredible, obviously, with a couple of those finishes. His average place finish was 2.2 after Jonesboro, and then kind of slowly is on that incline. He's at 15.4, so something to think about that. And Calvin's kind of done the opposite of AB, like started super high and is slowly like closing his average finish, if that's what you care about. But Calvin hasn't won this year. Or has he won twice? No, he's won twice.
Oh, he's won, yeah.
Yeah, he's won twice. Ricky's won twice. Excuse me. I read that wrong. Calvin's won twice. Ricky's won twice. But really, this is between AB and Gannon. Can these other guys make a move? Absolutely. But right now, it's between AB with Gannon. And obviously, Gannon taking a massive lead after this past weekend, winning the championship. Quick update of the Manufacturers Cup. We've got Discmania in first with 423, Discraft in second with 411, Innova in third with 186, Dynamic Disc with 168, Prodigy with 105, Casaplast with 77, DGA with 60, Westside with 56, Latitude with 54, and Thought Space with 45.5. All right. Couple questions to finish off, Yuli. Great episode. Good to have the boys back in town. Silas was gone. You were gone. I did a show by myself. I wanted to cry. So I appreciate you guys being back. So let's wrap it up with a couple questions here. This is coming from Antho Longa. What stops a large company like Discraft from offering custom discs, like picking your own plastic and plastic blends and colors and stamps, fully customizable?
What stops them? Shoot, I don't know. I have no clue. Probably like if I had to guess, probably employees. How many employees they're probably busy.
Yeah, I think my answer would be like they would have to probably have one of their machines specifically for customs.
Yeah.
And for that to make sense, like a financial side point of like all the discs they're not able to make because they're keeping it only for customs, they would probably have to charge so much for a custom disc. It would probably be ridiculous to the point of where no one's probably going to buy it. Brett Erickson says, if President's Cup was hosted in the United States, what course should it be at? Thought this was a great question.
Winthrop.
That was one of them. The other one is where the Blue Ridge Championships were.
Oh yeah.
Boulder. Is it Boulder or I always forget the name of that course. But that course had like a lot of OB, a lot of decision making.
Yeah.
That was you basically want one where it's like a lot of decision making, a lot of OB, you know? D-Walk, I was surprised at how many top players said they only had one day to practice the new course for one of the biggest tournaments of the year. Do you think the DGPT was wrong to schedule Cork Open so close to the European Open, or is it not that big of a deal?
Not that big a deal. You don't have to play the Crocal Open if the European Open means that much to you.
Exactly. Scott finishing off saying, instead of using my legs, hips, and arm, I started standing still, only using my arm. Seems to be repeatable. So far, so good. Is this a good idea?
No. You're going to hurt yourself.
So I'm assuming he's just like noodle arming?
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to hurt yourself big time.
Oh, man. There was I saw something on my like Instagram or Facebook or something. This guy threw one-legged. So he's just on his
that guy rips, yeah.
Yeah, he's just on his bracing leg, and he like threw like 60 something miles per hour just on one leg.
He does nothing but he's a standstill guy. Like he goes he goes to like the long drive competitions and just throws standstills like 500 feet. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Northco, thank you, Martin. Northco Disc Golf was the course I'm talking about for the Blue Ridge Championships. Very, very fun course. All right, this week in Foundation Disc Golf, we're doing a reality TV show, Yuli. I don't know much about it. I'm not sure if I'm going to be involved or not. It's during the week of GMC, so if I'm somehow able to get myself into GMC, I'm obviously going to go and play that. But if I don't qualify for GMC, then I guess I'm going to be in this reality TV show. Silas, do you have any intel on it since you got some boots on the ground over there?
Yeah, I can't say much about it right now. You know, we're still in the planning phase and all that kind of stuff. A lot of hush-hush going on, but it's going to be probably the best piece of Foundation content that has ever been produced. So,
wow.
Look out.
Oh, wow. Better than our break series. That's saying something.
Yes.
So, wow. All right, so be on the lookout there. Are we still taking auditions for that, or are we filled?
Yeah, we're still send them.
So yeah, send in your auditions if you want to be a part of our first ever reality TV show with disc golf. I literally don't know much about it, but hey, reality disc golf, I'm in. Our little housekeeping here. Shout out to Edwin's early trivia. Not sure who won this week, but if you guys want to win a free disc, our Edwin Stats puts on a little trivia question before the show, so make sure you jump into the chat 5 to 10 minutes early. Also become a member of the Tour Life crew to have a chance to win a little disc from our Edwin Stats, one and only. And shout out to all our Tour Life crew people. I saw someone was like a Tour Life crew member for like 12 months or something. That's insane. Thank you. That's awesome.
I looked today, and I think you can be 16 months is the max.
Was that what it was? Was it 16?
Right, yeah.
Was it Brian? Was that you? Are you at 16 months? That's insane. If it is, shout out to Brian. 16 months going strong. Love to see it. Tour Life merch. We're trying to, and Pee Wheat says he's at 16 too. Holy crap. All right, Pee Wee, we see you. Thor, Brian, all of our TLC people in the chat. Love to see you guys there. currently on a merch race to 1,000 Tour Life merch. Now I'm not wearing Tour Life merch. This is just a sweet Foundation Disc Golf shirt. But how close are we, Silas? How close are we here?
We're at 529.
Okay, so we're not close.
Maybe we need like a 750.
Should we do baby goals?
Yeah, we need
like
little
600.
We need stepping stones in here.
Let's do 600.
Yeah.
Shout out to Thor, 15 months. Look at that. Holy smokes. Okay, let's go for 600. 600. Let's make a push. 600 before Worlds. Go over Foundation Disc Golf, pick some stuff up. Also, make sure 15% off teamdiscraft.com. A lot of cool stuff over there. Me and Yuli are also in the works of potentially some stuff coming out as well. So stay tuned to that. Should be all good and gravy. And man, Yuli, you want me to pick you up anything at the card show? Be on the lookout. Try to get some deals.
Yeah, grab us a couple something so I can do a break the next time I see you. We'll do a live break with some people.
Oh, you're saying you want some product? Like,
yeah.
Yuli, come on. Wait, where? Oh.
Maybe some like
let me show you a
maybe
box.
like a nice quick. like a really nice box.
Yeah. Like how about a $2,600 box?
Yes, something like that.
2020 Prism.
I'll go in halvesies with you.
Joe Burrow, Jordan Love. Who else is this? Justin Herbert. There's one more rookie I'm forgetting. There's a fourth rookie.
Why is that so expensive?
Did you hear the names I just said?
Yeah, but it's a box of cards.
You could get a card in there that's worth 50 grand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This card right here that I just pulled today, Silas, there's like a $100 plus card.
Dang.
Now, if Anthony Richardson all of a sudden goes out and wins like 5 Super Bowls, this is now like $1,000 plus card. So it's all like based off of that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be
get us a spendy box.
Yeah. We'll do it.
And then I'll split the cost and we'll break.
Yeah, do a little rippity rip. All right, very nice. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this week. We really do appreciate it. Again, it's fun having us all back live. I know last week wasn't live, so apologies. But yeah, fun times. You've got the European Disc Golf Festival.
Yeah.
Which is like a really kind of a weird name for a tournament when you have festival in it, but it is what it is.
I heard the crowds are going to be way bigger than European Open.
I heard that too. They're also doing I saw something, they're doing some showcase thing or something that they just announced tomorrow. So I'm not really quite sure, but that's going on. And then we got Ledgestone, 4 rounds at Lake Eureka. Yeehaw! So until then, you all take care. We'll see you guys next week.
Later.